So a lot's been happening in the news lately, and everyone's hysterical. I mean, there's always a lot happening in the news. There has been for, the past 30, 40 years. It's just how things are. But, like the, Owen Benjamin does this bit, comedian, if you haven't heard of him, look him up. Owen Benjamin, spelled exactly how you imagine the names Owen and Benjamin being spelled. But he talks about how when he was growing up, in the 80s and stuff, you turn on the local television station or whatever, and you watch the news and it'd say, America's awesome. I'm butchering it, but everything is great, basically. Guy saved the cat and whatnot. America's great. Good night. Now it's all like, oh, what are we gonna do about the Middle East situation? Yada yada yada. And I meant to pick a spot closer to the woods. I'm actually in between two parking lots right now. You can see. So yeah, I'm in like a little grassy area between the two. There's like a path and whatnot. But I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate nature. Truly appreciate it. Because like this past summer, I had a run-in with environmentalists. I can't really disclose the details of the story. It wasn't a run-in. It was they tattletaled about something very, 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 very stupid. But that stupid thing just happens to be in the law. I'm not going to go into the details of what that was, because I have friends who would be like, hey, I mean, they probably wouldn't care if I talk about it on the internet, but I'm not going to anyway, just for the sake of confidentiality and whatnot. And I think the legality of it and everything, it wasn't anything major. If you want to legality, what happened? It wasn't anything major at all. But nothing big came out of it. It's fine. Okay. It's not like drugs or anything. It had to do with nature, and I'll leave it at that. But what's happened lately? Things like that. I went. Well, let's talk about the environmentalist thing first, and then I'll get to current events. So, by the way, I'm sitting on a light pole. I'm sitting on a little concrete thing. If you're wondering, why is there a light pole like directly behind him? I'm sitting on the concrete thing. It's not really much of a seat. It's like my rear end's hanging off of it. Like I barely have my butt on it, but it's enough to where I can sit. But anyway, okay, so the thing with environmentalists is not only are they hypocrites in terms of, they don't really care about the environment, blah blah blah. Not only do they not care, and not only do they not really take care of it as much as they say they do, they have a total disregard, a lot of them. And there are some out there who are legit, like green freaks, chewing leaves, and if that's your thing, go ahead. You go ahead and approach a male buck. He may impale you with his antlers, but you go ahead and do that. That's your prerogative. I'm not against that. Go ahead, do whatever the heck you want. Just don't shove it in my face. Just don't be an arrogant piece of crap. But a lot of times they don't really care about the nature they're in, or they're it's all sanctimonious bullcrap. They go in the woods for a day, which is kind of I'm kind of hinting at the situation that we were in. I'm not gonna really say anything on it because it's not my place. But I mean, it is my story to tell because I was there and involved, but it doesn't matter. But they're the very people, the real woodsmen, okay, the hunters and everything. They go in the woods and they camp, right? And they get, they go to their camp. At the least, they'll go to their camp somewhere. They'll go to like a cabin. People, but I'm talking about, like I went back. We didn't just go backpacking like a hiking trip. We went backpacking and stayed in the woods, sleeping on the ground, like men. Okay? These environmentalists, a lot of them come from big cities, which is kind of counterproductive. A little redundant at this point, because they always come from major cities. Like, when do you ever hear of an environmentalist coming from a small town? Like, the smallest really liberal city I've heard of, and I'm using the term liberal in its modern definition, not the real, like, classical liberal. Even a lot of classical liberals, people who call themselves classical liberals today, aren't really classical liberals. They're still progressives, just not as progressive as modern progressives. Anyway, but these very liberal cities, the smallest one I've ever heard of, okay, is Burlington, Vermont, and that's 40,000 people. That's not a small town. Okay, by definition, by the general consensus on what the definition of a small town is any town below 20,000 people. That's considered a small town. I believe the federal government has something, like for some of their programs or whatever, they consider small towns under 20,000 people. So Burlington, Vermont doesn't really count. That's the smallest town I can think of that's a big environmentalist city. I mean, there's some other cities that are into environmentalism, but they're just horrible at it. And then there's some that are really into it, like Seattle, Portland, San Francisco. And again, they're also horrible at it, but the difference is that there's like a vegan, non-GMO, Whole Foods market, whatever. There's organic stores everywhere. There's vegan stores everywhere. By the way, most of this food has been proven to not really be much healthier. Organic is not healthier. It's super wasteful. Organic food is super wasteful. It's not efficient in any way. It takes more land to grow organic food. They actually do use pesticides as long as they're organic pesticides. So you still have pesticides in your food. That's a total lie. Organic, you know what organic means? Organic literally just means carbon-based. That's everything. All these plants are carbon-based. I'm carbon-based. Every living thing is carbon-based. Most of the objects you use within a day have carbon in them. They're carbon-based. Your backpack, your oven, it's all got carbon. It's total horse crap. Okay, and I'm not no chemist, but I can figure this out. Okay, that's what organic means. So that's total BS. Then you have like the thing where veganism is healthy. You're not killing animals. Well, you're killing trees. And again, I refer back to Owen Benjamin. He talks about where he used to live. There used to be huge soybean fields. And there used to be these big combines, and they're chopping off the heads of rabbits while they're taking the soybean. So it doesn't matter. And even if it did, let's say, these people are such sissies. They're so weak, they can't go out and get their own food. It's like, well, if you want to eat lettuce, you grow the lettuce. And quit lecturing the farmer who grows the lettuce for going out and hunting. That's kind of funny how a lot of farmers tend to be hunters and woodsmen and stuff. It's really funny. It's hilarious how hypocritical they are. But if you want the food, you get it. That way you don't have anything on your conscience. But here's another thing about that whole situation. Is it's not healthy. That's the other lie. Well, it's healthy, so I'll do it if it's healthy. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. And by the way, even if you do grow your own food and stuff, you're still destroying an animal's habitat by putting a farm in. There's no way of getting around it. There's no way of getting around hurting animals. So you might as well just eat them. Sorry, they eat each other. Why can't we eat them? But another thing is that it's not healthy. That's the myth. Veganism is healthy. It's not healthy. First of all, if you're a vegan and you cook your food, you're cooking out all the nutrients. Even if you don't cook your food, you still don't have basic fats to survive. You need saturated fat in your diet. You need a certain amount of glucose. Fruits and veggies only have so much. Okay, yeah, maybe you can get enough glucose from fruits. You can scrape by. But, look, we've adapted to this earth to be carnivores. Over millennia, we have adapted. That's just a fact. Our bodies have been so used to this for so long that we just eat meat. It's built into our DNA. So our bodies are going to react horribly to just veggies. Now here's another thing about that, with the vegetables and fruits and all that stuff. It's not healthy when you don't have basic vitamins and minerals that only come from meat. Basic fats and proteins that only come from meat. People go, kale has more protein than beef. Yeah, but it's got the wrong kind. Does it have protein that builds muscle real well? Is it efficient? Again, this brings me back to efficiency. Is these people are hypocrites because they're not efficient in any way. They live in big cities. If you want to take care of nature, you'll live in it. You'll live where the supposed crimes against the poor animals are happening. That's just a fact. Live where it matters. Put your money where your mouth is. A lot of these people tend to be sons and daughters of educators. They have money because of 401ks and pensions and free paid for health care that teachers get because technically they're government workers. You get the whole BS of, teachers don't get paid enough. On average, teachers get paid what the average American makes, okay? $59,000. By the way, that's just the average. That's including billionaires. So teachers make the same as the American average when you include billionaires, right? So really, when you come down to true blue American, it's probably more like in the 40s of thousands. Okay? It's not as high as they say. But another thing is that these people, a lot of these educators and stuff, they're only working 185 days a year. So the average American works 270. The average working American does 270. So it's not even close. And it's really, really just hypocritical. It is.